Coach, take it away, buddy.
All right. So thank you, guys. I just finished speaking at an event, real estate event here, and that's why I was a few minutes behind because, you know, when you get going, Joseph Clark, right there at the end, man, you can't cut it short. You can't fight through it, man. And at the very end, go, all right, I got to go, guys. See you.
Absolutely, absolutely, Coach. And, you know, I mean, I was just audible, and something that really got me is the persistence, because that's what I'm really lacking. I mean, I'm very planning my day and what have you, but keeping through, being persistent on those schedules that I make is a serious issue.
And let me ask this question. If you have a lot of conviction, persistence is really tied to conviction. And the more conviction you have, the more persistent you're going to be. See, if I really believe I can change a person's life or help facilitate the change of a person's life, why would I quit after 1 or 2 times?
Okay.
See, so today we're going to move into chapter 1 and of Flip the Switch. And I'm basically, what I do, guys, is I make notes in the book. I'm reading the book just like you are, by the way. I'm reading it just like you are. There's no difference in me and you. I wrote it, but I'm reading it, and it's helping me to understand the importance. I got a call from Tim Grover this morning. You guys know Tim Grover? Anybody know Tim Grover? Tim Grover wrote Relentless. He wrote Winning. He was Michael Jordan's, Kobe Bryant's, Dwayne Wade's coach. And he said, man, I love how you're fighting on this book. He said, I love it, man. Here's what he said when I wrote Relentless, they didn't know how to classify the book. They classified it as a basketball book. And he said, I bet we didn't sell 10 copies the first 6 months. He said, so discouraging. He said, I just kept fighting. I just kept fighting. And that book sold over 1 million copies. So he said, I just want to call you and encourage you to keep persisting in this and keep fighting for what you believe in, Coach. And that means a lot to me to get calls from big time people like that. So we're going to talk about today, chapter 1 of the book. And I'm gonna go through some key things for you today. How many of you have read chapter 1 already? Belinda Santos, have you read it? Okay, all right. So that's okay, because it's going to get out there. And if you hadn't got your book yet, you should be getting it sometime soon. Amazon shipped out thousands of copies this week. Okay, because obviously we sold out of inventory and then had to go back and get more inventory, and that's been frustrating. But you should be able to get it. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna start.
Yeah, like mine's coming March 6th. So like for anybody who recently ordered it, like I know. Like I ordered it on like February 2nd or something February like 3rd or 4th. So I'm getting it March 6th from Amazon Prime.
Okay, good. All right. So if you need the manuscript, Mark can send you the manuscript in the meantime. Okay. All right. Let me ask some questions, because this gets into chapter 1 of the book. Motivated by what? Here's what I wrote down. There's a question I like to ask people. What would both fascinate and motivate you for the rest of your life? If you could wake up and do something every day, what would both fascinate you and motivate you? And let me tell you why I'm asking that question. When I'm doing what I love doing and what I'm put on earth to do, and what fascinates and motivates me, my prey drive is high. See, I speak in a day, 50 or 60 people, mortgage event. But it doesn't matter to me if I'm speaking to 5 people or 500 people, man. It activates me. And you know why? A little bit of competition. That's an activator, prey drive. Environment, I'm around people who want to get better. I don't want to be embarrassed. That's an activator, prey drive. All of these activators are activating. So when I ask you, what could you both be both motivated and fascinated by? Because chapter 1 is called Motivated by What? Okay, what motivates you? Okay, now if you read the book, you know that I became a coach because of one external affirmation. One person said to me when I was 6 years old, son, when you grow up, you're going to be a great coach. I was voice texting a young lady on the way over here who has cancer. And I've been watching her on social media fight through this cancer. And I sent her a voice text today and said, man, I've been watching how you're fighting. I believe in you. She interviewed with my company probably 10 years ago. And I said, man, you're so talented. You got such a fighting spirit about you. She ended up moving away to South Carolina and get married, having 3 beautiful children. And I'm watching her fight this battle every day on Instagram. And I just had this prompting this morning to send her a word of encouragement today. Give her courage, right? Help her fight through this because she needs motivation, right? Everybody does. So when you think about motivation, what I was doing was an external affirmation. The people who are the best at what they do know how to encourage other people. Okay. And typically one word of encouragement can get a person to another level somewhere in their life. I see something in you. I believe in you. I'm fighting for you. See, when you think about that, I became a coach because one woman believed in me. One coach said, son, when you grow up, you're going to be a great coach. Learn how to do this for other people. Learn how to build advocacy. See, some of y'all trying to build businesses, recruit people. How many of y'all see talented people all over the world? And we're so caught up in us that we can't send out any positive or encouraging words to other people because we're so focused on us, right? What I'm saying is external affirmation, saying something to another word could activate their prey drive. How many of you got to where you are today because somebody believed in you? Somebody gave you a word of encouragement when you wanted to give up. See, what Tim Grover saw in me today is how hard I've been fighting to make this book a hit. He could identify with that. Instead of texting me, he called me. He said, man, I just need 2 minutes to tell you this. I believe in you. Keep fighting, man. I'm proud of it. Don't give up fighting. And let me tell you a story about my book. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you 4 big questions that are in the book about motivated by what? These are 4 questions I asked my wife when she came to one of my workshops when she wasn't my wife at 30 years old. Because she said she was lost and confused and looking to do something, but she didn't know what she wanted to do. I said, number 1, what do you love doing? What do you love doing? Number 2, what are you really good at doing? That's talent. One's passion, one's talent. Number 3, where is there a need in the world that only you can fulfill with your unique talents? Number 4, what are you supposed to be doing? See, chapter 1 is asking this big question. Tim McCormick and Mike Morris, what motivates you, right? Motivated by what? The word motivate means to move. Are you motivated by making a significant difference in the world? Are you motivated by making $10 million? Are you motivated by being one of the top people in your space? Are you motivated through the purpose you get from helping other people? See, what this is really saying is the prey drive has to be activated, but it asks this big question like, man, what is it that flips a switch in you? What is it that does it for you, right? And so I always ask these people, what do you love doing? Man, I love doing this. Okay, what are you really good at doing? Man, I'm really good at this. Where is there a need in the world that only you can fulfill with what you love and what you're good at? Okay, this is not an answer you're going to find today in this book club, but you're going to wake up one day and go, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I love it. I'm good at it. People tell me I'm good at it. I'm fulfilling a need in the world. I can monetize it. There's an exchange of purpose. Okay, that's what I tell David Speck with his new book out. What don't you can teach old dogs new tricks? That's what it is. You can teach old dogs new tricks. If you're passionate about it, you need to get out there, man, and push and freaking push and push to the point that you think you're offending people. And who cares? Keep pushing it. If you believe that is what your passion is, if that's what your message is. The word passion in context of this book means to suffer. I'm willing to suffer some to go get it. I'm willing to sacrifice something to go get it. Okay. All right. Question, Melina?
Yes. So I've like the word fascinate me and the word motivation, right? So I look for the definitions, right? Because I noticed that you're really good and looking for the scientific definition. So fascinate me is something that draw us irresistibly. And the motivation is like the reason for acting or behaving in a particular way. So when you ask these questions, they all kind of intermingle because what fascinates me is what I love doing, which is what fascinates me is to see single mothers and like all those struggling, right? Like trying to get out of their norm that they were supposed to be in this square, but no, I don't want to be this person. I don't want to stay in this. Let me get out of the ghetto. That's basically it. A simple example, right?
Yep.
So to do that, I have to be attracted to something, have a passion, helping people. And because I went through it as a mother, as a single mother, that is my passion. That fascinates me. Seeing people getting out of poverty, helping them, giving them classes and the tools to go to the next level. So that's what I love doing. But my motivation is what? Me, because it happened to me and I don't want other people to
No.
go through that.
All right.
So what is my motivation?
Yeah, great question. So the word motivate means to move. So that would be taking a passion, something that fascinates and motivates, and putting it into action. Purpose would come from you helping other single moms fight through whatever it is they're fighting through. See, the way you get purpose is exchange. I'm exchanging my talent to help you. And in that exchange is a return back to me. That return is not always profit, external profit in the bank account. Sometimes it's internal profit. And internal profit is, man, I'm doing good work in the world. I'm helping people. So when I ask these big questions, what do you love? What both fascinates and motivates you? How hard is it to have the prey drive activated, Brian King, if you wake up every morning and have to go to something you don't love doing? Folks, I worked I was a teller at a bank. I got fired. I was the worst teller in America. I pumped gas when I was 16 years old. Got fired from that job because I didn't know the difference between the transmission fluid and the oil. Okay, I was terrible. Okay, when I found my calling in coaching, and I said, man, I want to coach people. And I said, man, I'm good at coaching people. I'm good at this. When I started to work this thing, I was like, man, it's on. This is fun. Prey drive is activated. I get to wake up every day. And so if you're passionate about helping single moms, there are ways to monetize it. Number one, fill a need and monetize it. Okay, because my mom was a single mom and she paid for things to go to. So when you think about these things, what I'm really saying to you is, man, what fascinates and motivates? What do you love doing? What are you really good at doing? Where is there a need in the world you can fulfill? That's monetization. Okay. See, I'm going to tell you a story about a guy who's here at my speaking engagement today. His name's Tommy Davidson. He's one of my top real estate agents. He hates selling real estate. Hates showing houses. You know what he's passionate about? Mentoring young men that didn't have fathers. Because that was him. His dad died when he was young. You know what he did? He went out and got him about 20 to 30 young men that were 18 to 22 years old that weren't going to college. Put him on his real estate team and taught him how to sell real estate and make money. He went from doing 35 deals to doing 219 deals. Everybody see that? He didn't tell me I'm passionate about selling real estate. I'm passionate about mentoring young people. Okay, can you do that through real estate? Because that's what you know. You know real estate. Okay, so you got to think. Sometimes we got to think bigger and broader. He's using real estate, the vehicle of real estate, to mentor people. And that feeds him emotionally, internal profit. Okay. So this chapter 1 is going into this. It's like, hey man, what freaking activates your prey drive? What are the conditions right for your prey drive to be high? Okay. What do you love doing? What are you good at doing? Where is there a need in the world that you can fulfill? How do I take my passion and convert it to monetization? I'm doing a whole course on this called Purpose to Profit in a few weeks. It's like $27 or $47. You really need to look at that. Mark, do you have that link that you can post in here for these folks? It's purposetofprofitlive.com. Purposetofprofitlive.com. Now, here's my point. If you're struggling to get this, like, man, when am I motivated? Here's what I know. I'm motivated when I'm in the gym at 5 a.m. I'm motivated when I'm getting sleep at night like I should. I'm motivated when I spend an hour with my kids in the morning. I'm motivated when me and my wife are on the same page. I'm motivated when my company's selling and producing revenue. I'm motivated when I'm moving towards something. Here's another way to look at it. Mike Morris, when am I miserable? I'm miserable when I'm not progressing towards something. Everybody see that? Now, if you keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, you kind of get into this, man. I am most motivated and most activated when I'm doing this. And my prey drive is on freaking high when I'm doing this. Now, there ain't nothing stopping you from doing that except you, by the way, and the boldness it takes to go do it. The people you see doing it on big stages, this is one thing I've learned from writing this book. Quit emulating other people and start becoming one of those people. Everybody follow me? You gotta quit emulating people and start going, man, I'm gonna be one of those people. Now, I wrote in my notes the concept of potential. All right. I want to give you some definitions of potential that I use, because what we're trying, the whole purpose of the book is to activate you and move you toward your potential, toward your be. And the book is kind of in there. It's gritty, man. I was reading it. It's not always sexy, but it's gritty. And it's kind of in there fighting with you, going, okay, this is how you move from A to B. And so what is the concept of potential? The concept of potential is an idea of embryonic growth, that I'll be better today than I was yesterday. I'll be better tomorrow than I am today. That is the opposite of complacency, which is gradual settling to a place of mediocrity. Does everybody see that? Complacency happens when my basic needs are met and I have nothing to go fight for, nothing to go push for, nothing to go get, no dreams. The reason I made this declaration, Juan, that I was going to make this a Wall Street Journal bestseller, is because it gave me something. It gave me a game to play, right? It gave me a fight to be in. And if you're like me, you need a game to play and you need a fight, because I've been doing this for 31 years. So I'm like, man, I need a freaking challenge here. I need to see if I can do this. I need to see if I can compete versus the Milettes and the Cardones I need to get in the game and see. I want to go head to head with these people and see how it shakes out. Now, all I was doing there, guys, was coming up with some target to activate my prey drive. I've written 17 books. That's my point. This ain't like my first rodeo. So what I did is I said, all right, what can be a new game I can play with this book? What if I could sell more copies before the book even comes out than I've ever sold of any other book in my life? What if I could hit the Wall Street Journal bestseller? What if I could do this? And what I did is I set a target and I started pursuing that target. When you hear me say, see it through to its logical conclusion, what I'm saying is set a target, and I mean work like crazy. And if you don't win, you can go home at night and go, man, you know what? It wasn't a lack of effort. If we don't hit it for some reason, it surely wasn't because we didn't try to hit it. We left it all on the field. That's how you got to go after something, man. And quite frankly, John McAllister, I don't see that in the world a lot today. I don't see people set targets. I don't see people have intensity toward the targets. I don't see people leave it all on the line. And I mean, just with freaking force and intensity, just go after it, man. Okay. And so when I wrote in the book, the concept of potential is like, I could be better today than I was yesterday. I can be better tomorrow than I am today. And I never stop getting better. Okay. Now here's what's going to happen. The government's going to tell you what we're all working for is to retire at some point. Okay. To retire. That's a government created concept, by the way. What comes next after retirement? A bunch of golf and then death. Okay. That's something to look forward to. All right. Something to get excited about. You know what the word retirement means? To take out of use. That's what it means. To take out of use. Take out of utility. That's what retirement means. I retired at 31 years old from basketball, but I didn't quit living. I didn't quit pursuing the goals. I just set new targets. See what I'm saying? Okay. Now, when I wrote down in my notes about fighting off complacency, here's what I said. How do you fight off complacency? If you're taking notes, write this definition down. Complacency is a gradual settling to a place of mediocrity. Mediocre means halfway up the mountain. What I'm doing is I'm settling to go halfway up the mountain. How many of you know somebody right now that's not even as good as you, that's outperforming you? How many of you that makes you fight mad and you're ready to do something about it? All you're lacking is remarkable boldness, for God's sakes. They're not any better than you. They're just bolder than you are. They just may have more action than you do. So what fights off complacency? Why do we become complacent? So write this down. Satisfied needs never motivate, only unsatisfied needs. What happens is we have a good life. This happened to me in 2020. In 2020, I was doing good. I was happy. Business was doing pretty good. Then we had the pandemic. They canceled all my speaking engagements. My staff went through depression. I was losing $250,000 a month. Let me tell you what that did. It got me fighting mad. And actually, in some kind of crazy way, I needed it. I needed a new game to play. I needed a new fight. I had an adversary. I had something standing between me and my goals. And you know what it did? It activated the second driver of prey drive, competition in me. Fear and competition is what it activated in me. And once I had the fear activated in me and the competition activated in me, it's like I went to a whole new level, a level I had never been before in my business. Everybody see that? And I'm convinced that my prey drive wouldn't have been activated if I didn't have this fear. I had grown a little complacent. Okay. And so what happened is this thunderbolt happens, and this thunderbolt hits my business, and it's like, dang, we may lose everything right here. This is serious. I got to get my butt in gear, man. And so what
So
I
is
did,
this why you say that fear is your friend in the introduction?
that's exactly why I say fear is your friend, because fear used correctly could be one of the greatest activators of your prey drive you've ever had in your life. See, if I fear, this is why I practice mental subtraction. I cover this in the book. Mental subtraction is pretending to lose something you love. Like, what if you had to sell your house? What if you had to go bankrupt? What if you had to give up the car you're driving? What if you had to lose everything? What if you had to go back to where you came from? What if, see, mental subtraction will activate the prey drive because I mean, I got to go out here and do something. Okay. I'm doing this Greatness Factory deal right now, and it's $1.2 million over budget. $1.2 million over budget. I'm like, they're like, man, we can't cut $1 million, coach. Like, we can cut some things, but we can't cut $1 million. So at first you get mad. It's like, okay, what am I going to do now? Then the prey drive kicks in and goes, all right, I can figure this out. I just need a day or two to figure it out. Do I raise more capital? What can I do? Okay. Who do I know who can help me? Who? Okay. I sit down with the guy who's built these big buildings, and he coaches me. Now, my point is, at first you move into a contraction. It's like, oh, I can't do this, man. It's going to be too hard to do. Why don't we just give up? See, then I move from the contraction to the whining and the pouting and the complaining to now fears. Nope. What did I write in that book? Fear is my friend. I need to use this fear. This is good. This is going to stretch me. This is going to push me. I'm going to figure out how to do this. Everybody see that? So the way we fight off complacency is we constantly set new targets. And the new targets reactivates the prey drive. Okay. Now I have it on close. I don't know how you say it when you have inside information, but I know for a fact Aaron Rodgers, who played in the NFL last year, didn't want to play. I know he went to a person and said, I don't want to play. I know they're paying me all this money. I'm tired. I'm burnt out. I'm sick of football. He literally did not want to play another season. And they're paying him millions and millions of dollars. And he goes to this person, which is like a coach or psychologist, and they're trying to reactivate his drive and say, come on, let's get back in the game. Let's go do this. Let's go compete. But at first it's like, I'm done. I ain't playing. I don't care how much money they pay me. I already got a bunch of money. So money wasn't the motivator. It's like, how do I get this fire back inside of me? And the only way I've ever known guys to get that fire back inside of me was to be afraid and to want to go get something new. That reactivates my prey drive. So if you're complacent today, why have you allowed yourself to become complacent? Why would you say, yeah, let's just go halfway up the mountain, man. I got goals, but forget about my goals. This is just as good as it's going to get. You wouldn't tell your kids that, would you? Okay, well then don't tell yourself that. Tell yourself, you know what? I'm just getting going in this game, man. I'm just figuring this out. Okay, Mike Fowler, what's your question?
So I just wanted to make a comment after following you for a little bit, and I wanted to make a comment about fear. And I'm a real estate agent, and I'm really good with people, but I'm not really good with making cold calls and just grinding out. But in the shifting market, I got to put myself in an uncomfortable position, and I wouldn't do it until I created enough fear. And so I don't know if there's other agents on there. What I just wanted to share is that my fear factor, or whatever you want to call it, is that I needed a consequence. And so I made a goal to make 250 phone calls a week.
Yep.
And if I do not do that over the next 3 months, I have to cancel a trip to New York and Washington, D.C. to party with my friends.
There you go.
And I don't want to make that phone call. I don't want to tell my wife, hey, you could go, I can't. And so,
See, that's a consequence. See, consequence where there's no consequence, there's no change of behavior.
right.
So you instilling a consequence creates a change in your behavior. Fear,
100%. And
Okay.
now I've doubled my phone calls and felt more comfortable with it. And I bet you, rather than 250, I'll probably find a way to do 500 every
so
week.
remember this, guys, you don't start with confidence or courage. You start with commitment to something. And because of the
Coach,
commitment, you get courage. Yeah.
Coach, sorry, I apologize for the interruption, but you and one of your lines is that recognizing my activator forced me to transform my business. So recognizing takes other things, like you have had to have that knowledge, right? Where these activators are. So because it's hard for someone to recognize something. So how do you get to that place?
Yeah. Recognize what your activators are. Well, in the book, I go through 5 activators: fear, competition, environment, exposure, embarrassment. Okay. See, last week when I was speaking to 10,000 people, Lone Depot Stadium, it'd have been embarrassing, man, if I didn't perform well. Guess what? That fear of embarrassment did caused me to think, prepare, get ready, practice, work on my message. Probably went through the message 40 or 50 times before I spoke, right? Went out, walked on it, talked on it, timed it. When I was working out and I was going through it, you know why? Fear of embarrassment. Okay. So when you know your primary activator, the truth is all 5 of these activators can activate your prey drive. And it could be 3 at one time. So for Mike Fowler making 150 calls, the fear of not hitting his goals and him not being able to go on this trip is enough mental subtraction, which is just a concept, to activate him to make 150 phone calls. Here's the truth. Nobody wants to make phone calls. I don't want to make phone calls. But my B, where I'm trying to get to, is big enough that I'm willing to fight through my feelings to get there. Everybody see that? See, I'm in A, I'm trying to get to B. Okay, my B is bigger than my A. So here's what I'm willing to do. Suck the sour to get to the sweet. What's the definition of passion? To suffer. I'm willing to suffer through it, man, to get there. So what Tim Grover was saying this morning is keep suffering through it. Keep suffering through it to try to hit it. It's worth it, coach. And even if you don't hit it this week, keep selling, keep moving that book. Keep going. He said, because mine didn't sell for the first, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, man. I could have got discouraged and give up. I just kept fighting. And it went on to sell 1 million copies. So for you, what I'm trying to say here is the book in chapter 1 is really getting into these 3 phases of the prey drive: the activation, the persistence, and the intensity. These are phases. These are not activators. The activators activate the prey drive. Then there must be a persistence and an intensity to that. Right? Then there must be a persistence and an intensity to that drive, but the drive has to be activated. So what's it activated? Fear, embarrassment, okay, environment. See, I just challenged this audience. It's my hometown. I did a speaking engagement in my hometown, which is the absolute hardest. Which disciple was it? Was it one of the disciples that said, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" So speaking in my hometown is like, people looking at me like, "Can anything good come out of your hometown? Come out of Nazareth?" And so it's very hard for me to speak to my hometown because I challenge them and I push them and they look at me like, "Oh, you're just a little basketball coach." And so some of them are going to like it. Some of them ain't going to like it. But guess what? I don't care. That ain't my job. I am not here to be liked. I am here to activate people's prey drive. What if I had to go through 50 people just a minute ago to activate one person's prey drive? Would that be worth it? If I change that one person's life? The key to the many is to the one. Okay. So you just got to keep remembering this. Now, let me close today with this. Big questions for you to tackle this week. What sparks your prey drive? What sparks it? I know when I'm in the gym at 5, when I spend an hour with my kids, when I'm in a good place, I have personal time to myself, my prey drive is at its highest. Okay. I know that's the conditions. Number 2, how interested are you in your potential? Are you casually interested in it, or are you very interested in it? Too many people are casual with their potential. Number 3, I want you to answer those 4 big questions. What do you love doing? What are you good at doing? Where is there a need in the world you can fulfill? And the big one, what are you supposed to be doing? Okay. And the last one is, if you have allowed complacency to come into any area of your life. You know, there was a time that me and my wife were totally disconnected from each other. I was on the road a lot. She was at home raising our kids. And I came home one night and she wasn't paying a bit of attention to me. I mean, not a bit. And it bothered me. And I said, look, I said, man, I'm your husband. Like I need you to pay attention to me. I'm like, everywhere I go, I get attention from people. I'm Coach Burt. I sign books, I take pictures. And then I come home and my own freaking wife is not paying any attention to me. You know what she said to me? She said, we've had to learn to live without you here. We've had to learn to just keep going without you being here. So I apologize if I'm not paying attention to you, but you ain't been here. You ain't been here in a couple of weeks. And you know what that taught me? We were disconnected from each other. We had grown complacent. And I said, you know what? I need to go to work on this because I've allowed some complacency to come into our relationship. Okay. If there's any area of your life that you have allowed to be mediocre in, I don't care what it is, your personal relationships, your faith, your business, your personal standards you have for yourself, it is time. If you're going to read this book, you cannot read this book while simultaneously allowing yourself to be complacent. The book, Ed Milet asked me, he said, if I'm going to endorse this book, what problem does it solve, Coach Burt? And I said, the problem of complacency. There's no way you can have a high prey drive and be complacent at the same time. Okay. They do not go hand in hand. So I want to challenge you this week. Pick an area of your life that you have gotten complacent in, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Okay. And I mean, freaking attack it with an intensity, with a persistence and an intensity. It ain't going to be convenient, but what does the word passion mean? To suffer. To suffer. I'm going to suffer through it till I get there, man. Okay. Now, Mark is posting, I'm doing this big virtual event coming up that I think every kid, every person in America should have to go through. It's called Purpose to Profit. And it is one of my best-selling programs. It's like $47. Maybe it's 27. I don't know. It's 27 or 47, but it's 3 days with me, March 9 through the 11th. I added a whole nother day for like $27 or $47. I don't know, but you can go to that link and I walk you step by step for 3 days in how you locate your purpose and convert it to profit, internal and external. Okay. So I really want to encourage you. Get that program. Okay. Because I'm telling you that is a game changer for people. It'll help you because when I'm on point and purpose, my prey drive is high. When I'm off purpose and I'm disconnected, my prey drive is low. Just that simple. Okay. All right. Great week, guys. Thank you very much. Okay. If you have questions, okay, send them to mark@coachburt.com and he can get them to me. And I'll be happy to answer your questions. If you got a question on something, just send them to mark@coachburt.com. He'll forward them to me. And I'll take a look at it and I'm going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina over the next 2 days. And I'm going to be out in California over the next couple of weeks. So if you're out there in one of these cities, you want to come see me live, I'd love to see you. Just follow me on social media and I'll say, I'm coming to Charlotte. I'm coming to San Diego. I'm coming to Texas. I'm coming here. I'm coming to Virginia, Arlington, Virginia in just a few weeks. So if you want to come see me live, it's much better live than it is on Zoom, number one. Okay. And there's a whole lot of conviction that comes along with it. So I really encourage you and get that purpose to profit live.com. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Have a great week. Thank you. Thank you for being in the book club. Thank you for buying the book.